Hello, wonderful subscribers. How are you all? I hope you're keeping well. The rain is falling here in Glasgow as it's dark and wintry. But I hope wherever you are is nice. I hope whatever you are working on at the moment, you're obviously dedicated to your self improvement. I hope it is going well for you. Nothing major update wise on my end from a personal point of view. Continuing to work on the podcast and my writing. I hope it continues to inspire. I hope it continues to motivate. I hope it continues to uplift you. And honestly, I know I say it in the podcast sometimes, but hearing people and when people write to me about their experiences is my favourite thing. So, as a subscriber, if you ever do want to write to me, to reach out, to chat, please do. I always find it a good challenge as well to think of the things that can help at that moment in that time. Today, I want to share with you some quick tips. I'm going to talk or name this episode around action for the week. So, when you're listening to this, I want you to try and implement these things in whatever way suits you best this week. There's no ties to it, there's no permanence or permanent commitment to it. It's just some actions for you to be aware of and try and implement this week as part of your own growth, as part of your own self-improvement, adding those strings to your bow as you continue to become the person you want to be. Now, today is going to be connotated around vulnerability. Vulnerability with others. And whether that's people that are close to you or people that you just meet, I want to go through some examples of things, actionable things that you can use and take this week and implement it in situations you feel are apt for it. So, some of these might sound a little bit like a quote, but these are almost thoughts that I have written down over the last 3 years or so as part of my own development when I've needed reminding within topics such as this vulnerability. Vulnerability can lead to better conversations because the displays of it are opportunities to connect further with one another. I'm not saying throughout a conversation you need to admit all your weaknesses. All I'm saying is by recognizing them with someone, they see parts of themselves in what you're saying, which allows them to connect with you more easily. In situations, and again, I'm not saying to do this every time, but there's going to be times where admitting that you're wrong, whilst still being self-assured of yourself, is an impressive trait. Self-assurance can come through body language, it can come through experience, it can come through respect that you've built up through months or years with people. But admitting that you're wrong whilst maintaining that self-assurance is something that a lot of people would bite your arm off for, bite your hand off for even. But that confidence within yourself, even though you got something wrong, is almost priceless in a sense of credibility, respect, etc. as well. So I think it's important to use this to your advantage. Use admitting that you're wrong whilst being self-assured to benefit you. As, you know, one of the most human traits is making mistakes, but there's something valuable in recognizing and knowing that you will make mistakes. You have, and you will in the future, but knowing that that doesn't affect you as an individual. It is that confidence that you need to go through that mistake in order to become better. And that leads me on to my next point around mistakes. It's important not to reiterate them. It's important not to make them again, nor wallow in a mistake that you make. A mistake happens, how you recover is the most important part. acknowledging it is just as important. It shows that self-awareness, and it also allows for that opportunity to grow. It's very easy to hear someone talk about a mistake they've made and think, oh, I would never do that, and then you go and do it. So, whilst mistakes will always happen, acknowledging them and growing from them is the beauty of mistakes, I guess. And that leads me on to my last point. As short and sweet as this is supposed to be actionable. This is supposed to be something you can implement pretty quickly. If you want more respect from others, use opportunities that are fitting to talk about lessons you've learned from messing up. So this is the fine difference between talking about a mistake and then talking about the lesson from the mistake. Lessons are things that can be learnt. Lessons are important experiences that you can't put a price on. Lessons that you learn from mistakes are pretty much advice for others. And people appreciate that. People appreciate you taking the time to talk about the mistakes you've made and giving them that almost as free advice, because they can then use it as much or as when they need, but at no cost to them. So I hope those will help for you. A quick recap. Admitting you're wrong whilst being self-assured is impressive. Don't wallow in or reiterate mistakes that you've made. Acknowledge them and grow. And if you want more respect, talk about lessons you've learned from messing up. Thank you very much for listening, guys. As I said, reach out, message, whenever you feel like it, at the time that you need. But as always, you will mean everything to me by being a subscriber for something I've created on my own. So thanks for your support as always, and I will see you all next time. Cheers.